This video is sponsored by DevMountain. If any of you are interested in learning UX design, DevMountain is a 12-week design bootcamp intended to get you a full-time job in the industry. You can learn more about this at devmountain.com or click the link in the description below. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Will Patterson. Today I'm going to be showing you some of what I do on my iPad with lettering, with logo design, because I do it all within this iPad. So today I'm going to be showing you how I get all these pieces done and my sort of process for hand lettering on the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil. If you haven't noticed, I'm already in Paris at the minute. So the reason why these videos are a bit different and weirdly scattered during the week is because the videos that I'm doing now are made beforehand, before I went to Paris, and I don't have a chance to sort of make them in Paris. So anyway, today I'm going to be showing you all about that. So this is Procreate, and I'm going to go and make a new sort of file or canvas, and I'm going to do it by screen size, just as it's very good. Now I've got my light display here, or my light preference on, which is basically the UI change. So go to the little wrench here and go to preferences and choose light or dark interface. Yours should be on dark. That's normally the way it is on Procreate, but I like mine to be in the white. And also go up here and I'm going to go to my sketching, my technical pencil, which is what I normally use. Make sure my color is black, like so, and you can see that it's just working nicely just there. Now, the number one problem that people have when they're drawing is that they don't know where the straights are. Now, in the iPad, you can create a grid by holding down the stroke and it will create a straight line for you. But what I prefer to do is just go to import an image, and I have an image of a canvas or a grid, saved to my Procreate or my picture. So I can just bring that in, scale it up. Then I'm going to turn the layer opacity down because we're working in layers here. I'm going to create a new layer, and now we have a grid that we can turn on or off depending on what we want to do. Now I'm going to be showing you some of my lettering here, so I'm just going to do something really simple just to show you guys how I go for it. So I'm going to choose the word peace out, I think, and that's going to sort of help you guys understand what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do after I've got my grid in place is just start sketching out what I want. So I'm going to, with just a normal pencil here, just sketch this out. And a lot of you guys have asked me about my type styles that I've been using on Procreate, and it's just generally I use, or I do whatever I feel is best, but Procreate is such a good app to use just because you get so many different features in it. So my type style, I'm just going for a sans serif here. I'm getting more into my sans serifs at the minute, but I'm just going to really quickly and roughly sketch out a P and make sure it looks half decent. And the rubber I'm going to use, or the eraser, we call them rubbers over here, is just an airbrush, a medium hard airbrush, just in case I go wrong with anything. Now the great thing about using the iPad is not only that I can just show you it like this, but I can actually orientate the paper without disturbing the camera, because you can just see it straight off. So that is an awesome thing. And I'm going to not do that because I just remembered, but get this really roughly sketched out. So it's about a square thick. So I'm just going to go for square thick. And I know I'm not doing this proportionally right, because type is an optical illusion, but I'm just squaring this up. I'm trying to make the letter form. I'm allowing myself just to make something, just to get an idea. And I'm just going to say peace out. This is a condensed sort of look here, but we can always go over this. And plus, this type style is meant to look messy, whilst holding its elegance. So it's a bit about this thick. So you can see here, the process is a bit different on the iPad, but not very much so. It's just a lot quicker, in my opinion. And in fact, what we're going to do is just move this a bit over to here, because it won't fit on the screen, which is fine. And this is just a very rough sketch, and this is what I normally do for my Instagram stuff. I can go very precise, but I think for this effect, or like, you know, hand lettering on the iPad, it's just a lot more fun just to use the tools that you have. Oh, hello. There's a bit of a mistake there. I'm sort of lettering on a weird angle because of the camera. And if I wanted to get some proper like technical erasing, because part of what I do as a hand lettering artist, it's a lot about erasing, which you'll see, which will make this really stand out. So I just properly sketch it on, but then I just erase quite a bit afterwards. And here we just use a straight line just to create the upward. Right here, another straight line. No need for rulers in Procreate either. We just sort of shove it all in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm staying to my parameters, but because we're in an iPad, we can always select what we want, delete it, and we can really fool around with everything that we're doing on here. So there's no real consequence to if anything I'm doing wrong. It's just all about messing around with it, really. Now, a cool thing about this, I can keep symmetry by copying this over. So I'm just going to copy this over. But that adds a new layer, so I'm just going to merge these layers together, right? And this is just a very basic sans serif condensed typeface that looks very rough right now. And just quickly overshoot the C a bit. The C's and the curves can sometimes be quite hard, but when I'm sort of just doing an Instagram lettering, it's normally just like that. But you overshoot it. As you can see, I've remained to the lines here, but with the C's and anything like an O or whatever, you want to overshoot because it is a optical illusion, and that's just the way that lettering goes, really. So overshoot on here as well. As you can see, I'm staying within certain parameters. And if I do anything wrong, you can just easily erase it. I've got my pencil eraser here, which gives me the same texture as using the pencil. So if I erase something, it doesn't look too clean or too messy or whatever. And I'm really just eyeballing this to make it look half decent. You can see there's a lot more scattered strokes on here, but that's okay, because as we sort of erase stuff, you can see that it'll get a lot smarter. And this is a great way of learning lettering, knowing that you can erase stuff. And on the iPad Pro, it makes it so much easier. Just turning everything around and erasing stuff that you don't want there. Because it's easy to know what's wrong with it and get rid of what's wrong than to always know what's right. This reminds me, I'm in Paris right now. Or I should be near Paris right now. I'm going to be doing some live streaming on my iPad for some lettering over there with Adobe. So that should be hilariously good. You guys will see me on Adobe Live. You should go and check me out. It won't be live streaming off this channel like I normally do, but it'll be a just live streaming sort of in general, teaching you guys the basics of hand lettering on the iPad. Okay, and all we need to do now is very easily take the E and steal it. Copy, paste, drag it over, it will keep in line. We can merge this down a bit. Zoom out so we can see what it looks like. And it looks okay to me. There's probably a few issues there, but it doesn't matter. And we can add stuff to this as well. So this is the word piece. Now, the reason why I've done it really big is because literally I can just scale it down whenever I want. But to do this non-destructively, I always duplicate that layer if I'm going to select it down or bring it down a little bit. But the first thing I'm going to do is what I like to do with lettering now. I didn't used to, but I like to fill the word that I've just worked in with the filling type of thing. Hang on, let me explain. So when I normally letter, I don't normally fill the lettering in until the end point, but I realize that sort of gives away some of the weight and it gives me less time to think about it and to make sure it's okay. And it's just a better practice overall just to fill it out first than it is to not fill it out, if you get my drift. So we're going to choose like something down here and we're going to make it very painty. Don't like that one, but I'm doing this on the duplicated layer. Maybe just ink. These are just paintbrushes here with inks. It's too much. Acrylic is what I normally go for, so I'm just going to go for acrylic. Just paint on top. And the cool thing about this is that we can get some really cool texture on my lettering, which is something that I've been looking forward to doing for a while. Texture in the lettering, and if we go off a little bit, it's fine. Just make sure that you choose a good sized brush, because you can always, backspace it. But lettering on the iPad is unreal, mate. And fill this in. You can see there's quite a bit of texture there. It's probably easier to see if the if we inverted the colors. But the way that this brush works is it gives a nice streaky texture to it. Then what I do is, this is when I start making the lettering look good. It's when I do this. Make the lettering look half decent, right? Now, we don't want to go too overboard with this because we do want to keep the texture, personally. And hand lettering is all about fun, so I'm just going to be keeping the texture to what I want to do. You may do differently, but that is okay. But I just want to generally get the overall shape down there. Not too many obvious mistakes. There we go, and that's sort of what makes it pop right there. Move on to the next one. Repeat the process. Oops. To the next one, just go to the A. And what we'll do for the end one is just steal the E again. Something to remember when doing lettering is you don't want to ever upscale anything because it's all rastered. You always want to downscale it, so make sure whatever you're drawing, if you don't know the placement of it already, it's like larger than you think it should be on the actual full composition, because then you can like downscale it instead of having to maybe upscale it. So you have to retrace over it and it won't be as crisp as it was before. A question that I get a lot as well is whether I still use paper. Now, I still use paper, but I'm not like all the time. It's mainly the iPad now, just because, have you seen how quick this is? Getting ideas and concepts out there to clients and to like just my work in general. Like it just speeds up the process so much that it'd be stupid for me to use paper all the time, even though it feels sometimes like you're kind of losing the trade because you're going into the digital realm, and hand lettering, you know, is known for its physicalness. And there's not really much I can say about this apart from just keeping the proportions of your lettering and stuff like that. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. It's a bit different. I'm not really teaching you very much. I'm just sort of showing you something that I do. And this is like a new typeface that I like to work with, which is like a condensed sans serif with a painted look. I think someone asked for it to be shown on the YouTube channel. And it's unfortunate that you have to have an iPad to do it this quick. You can do it on, paper, bring it into Photoshop and stuff, but I find it so much more easier doing it on here. And that's another great thing about Procreate. This video isn't sponsored by them. I'm just an absolute fanboy of the program, but you can export this as a Photoshop document. So you have all the layers that you wanted and everything else. So this is going to look so much better afterwards. So instead of just doing peace out, I'm going to do peace be with you, because that's going to be class and it's just going to be a lot more fun to do, and it's easy as well. So I've got a few brushes that you can actually buy on my store. This is one of them, the monoline painting one, and it's just really cool for monoline drawing. So like, love, stuff like that. It's just really good. And you can change all the values of it in here as well. And you can download that from my website. I've got a bunch of other ones that you can buy as well. So go and check it out. I'm just going to do this. Peace be with. I'm doing this in a very informal, with streamline on. But I want it to look natural. Kind of like that. Peace be with. And we'll select this because I want to do it on a different layer. 3D fingers down, cut and paste, make it on a different layer. I think that'll do. To make it look a bit better, just duplicate it and import it down. So that's going to make it look a lot nicer on the screen. So we've got peace be with. And this is sort of my hand lettering process on the iPad. Just because it's so freeing, I can do so much. So I'm going to go back to sketch and we'll do you. And again, I'll need to nick this. Merge that down, merge that down. Peace be with you. And we'll see how this looks. I think my head's getting into the recording. That'll be frustrating. Merge them down again. Peace be with you. Like so. And here's a little trick. Go for a black background. Take off the grids. Go to a white thing. Go to up here. Go to recolor. Drag this little onto there. And you've got your hand lettering piece. And then when you're doing that, you can obviously turn to the dark interface. And we've got there some lettering on the iPad Pro, and that's sort of my process behind it. You can see this texture on there as well. It looks pretty decent, but that's sort of the process behind it and what I normally do. And this is sort of I go through different styles every day. It's really weird. All these styles are different. But there's my ridiculously long video showing you how to do something that's fairly simple, but hopefully giving you some inspiration to do it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Have yourself a good day. See you soon.